Rob Heath, and you're watching After Hours at the Commodore. Had her whole life packed up in that case, all its lessons written on her face. As I took her back, she took my arm. She said, "What a thoughtful boy you are. There's a nursing home on Duncanhurst, but could you drive me around a little first?" I said I would, and then I thought I saw a couple tears run down her knitted top. So I turned the meter off. Our biggest moments often come before we notice them, they're gone. Our biggest moments often come dressed up to look like little ones. For hours and hours we just drove around. We would pass a place, she'd slow me down, like the dance hall where she first met him, or the church their kids were baptized in. She said, "I've heard I haven't got too long. Everyone I loved is dead or gone." And in her own way she was telling me, there's no one left to leave these memories. So I listened carefully. Our biggest moments often come before we notice them, they're gone. Our biggest moments often come dressed up to look like little ones. Then she got quiet, said it's time to go. When we arrived, she asked me what she owed. I just told her, "It's my pleasure, ma'am." Then she whispered as she squeezed my hand, "No, it was mine, young man. Our biggest moments often come before we notice them, they're gone. Our biggest moments often come dressed up to look like little ones."
Would you talk a little bit about the songwriting circle for us?
Oh yeah, we've been doing a songwriting circle since 1995. We started at the B Scene, which was a studio that's now kind of gone defunct. Todd Kuzu ran that studio, and we kind of got the idea. I had a publishing deal in LA with Criterion Music, and when I went down there, there was a song circle that started, and they were going every Monday, every week. And so I joined it, and when I came back to Edmonton, I talked to Todd, and we decided we were going to do once a month, first Monday of every month, and we've been doing that since then. And we have over 300 songwriters on our list, so there's a lot of people in Edmonton that write songs. Some of them in their basements, and probably never will play them live. And we get together once a month, and we sit around and we play our songs and critique each other, and it's a great group of people. And it's kind of like, whoever comes, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know who's going to show up. And you got everything from, the guy who wrote his first song, the guy who's written his, 101st or 1001st song, people from 12-year-olds to 85-year-olds, and it's every kind of music, rap. We've had just every kind of genre you can think of. And it's great because, you and it's a circle. There's no voice that's louder than the next voice. And some of the best advice I've gotten to edit and change songs that I've written come from people who have never written a song before, or they're there for the first time. Because everybody's we're not all professional songwriters, but we're all professional listeners. So everybody knows what they like and what they don't like. And yeah, it's really good. Of course, you get 20 songwriters in the room, you get 20 different opinions, but I don't think I've ever written I don't think I've ever written a song in the last 30 years that hasn't been changed by that circle. So
Amazing.
It's great, and it's free for everybody. And we do it down the block, about 3 blocks down, in the Symphony Tower. I write a lot of songs with a guy, Poker Tom, from Arizona. We write on Zoom, and he's like one of the top poker players in the world, but he's also a good songwriter, and he's got a great sense of humor. He used to do stand-up with his daughter, so we wrote this song. He says he has humility, but he has the strength of character to overcome that. Well, you told me that I have an awesome grasp of obvious things. You feel smarter whenever I'm talking, and I'm sharper than everyone thinks. But excuse me, you lost my attention. We're not talking about me anymore. The minute that you changed the subject is the second that I became bored. Let's get back to the subject of awesome. Awesome is spelled with M-E. Google it and you'll find awesome right next to a picture of me. Extremely impressive and daunting. I'm alright if I say so myself. Let's get back to the subject of awesome. Why talk about anything else? I love chatting about my favorite subject. I'm an expert on me after all. And even when I think I'm boring, I'll bet other folks think it's their fault. I know that nobody is perfect, but I'm closer than all of the rest. I'm awesomer than anybody, and that would make me the awesomest. Let's get back to the subject of awesome. Awesome is spelled with M-E. Google it and you'll find awesome right next to a picture of me. Extremely impressive and daunting. About right if I say so myself. Let's get back to the subject of awesome. Why talk about anything else? Now, it's just not polite to be staring, but I do understand all the awe. At a gallery I found in Paris, Mona Lisa admiring moi. Yeah, I speak Spanish. By now every war would have ended, and they all would be calling a truce. If everyone loved everybody the way that they love you know who. You know, I read this book by Alvin Toffler. It's called Power Shift, and in this book he says there's 3 forms of power. There's the power that comes from a gun. There's power that comes from money, and there's power that comes from words. And he says the power from a gun goes away when the gun goes away, and that's the same with the power of money. But the power of words lasts forever. You know. That song "Cats in the Cradle." You're talking about Harry Chapin before, I think. Maybe not. Jim Croce. It was Jim Croce, but Harry Chapin wrote a song called "Cats in the Cradle," and I was a better father because of that song. That song had an impact on me. It made me realize that what comes around goes around. If I'm not a good father, then my sons probably aren't going to want to have anything to do with me. So the power of those words. He died 40 years ago. But the power of his words are still resonating. So it's, songwriters have a lot of power.
What makes a good song to you, Rob? What would you tell someone makes a good song?
Boy, that's a loaded question. I My first album, I was really heavy on melody and really heavy on production, and lyric was really unimportant to me until I had a publishing deal for my album. They were shopping me as an act, and we came close with Curb Records, but I didn't play live, and that was a problem. So it kind of didn't go anywhere. But my publisher came to me and said, "Why don't you go to Nashville and start writing country?" Because Nashville in 1995 was kind of like rock was in 1987. So it kind of, Nashville kind of follows rock by about 5 or 6 years. So I started learning how to write a lyric because, I was sitting in the room with, there's a lot of co-writing in Nashville. It's all about co-writing, and you really learn a lot about how to write a strong lyric. And a lot of it's conversational. I mean, there's no rules, and rules are made to be broken. But in Nashville, you don't get a lot of metaphors. A lot of it's very conversational, very down to earth. And I kind of lean that way in my own lyric writing now. If a line goes by that confuses the audience, they're probably not going to hear the next 4 or 5 lines. So it's, unlike poetry, you can sit and you can read that poem 5, 6, 7 times, and you can look at each line and figure out what it means. But when this is a verbal medium, so it's got to be understandable from my perspective. My songs, I feel that it's got to be understandable the first time through. And if there's a few loaded things in that lyric that people get the second and third time through, that's nice too. Talking about Mark Ladisher, I remember one night he was talking about things that his father said, and he said, my dad said, you make your whole life to you live a life to make a life, and then you realize that was your life. Yeah. And I wrote this song for a golfer. He said he wanted to have, he was on his way out, and he said that he wanted a mulligan in life. He wanted a do-over. So I thought that was a good idea for a song. And it's fun. And strangely enough, too, I had when I was in my mid-50s, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And the night after I found out about this, I went home and I went out and I watched the Bucket List, which was a great movie to watch, having heard that kind of news. And then I played myself this song. I'll lie down and I'll watch the clouds, play my music way too loud. This time I'll taste that first kiss, so I can take pleasure in the thrill that is. Couple of times around the sun, I just got going and now it's done. Does this ride have to end? Is there a rule you can bend? I wanna go again. I wanna go again. Forget the meetings and the money, all the fights now just seem funny. Important things slip through my hands. Life just happened while I was making plans. Couple of times around the sun, I just got going and now it's done. Does this ride have to end? Is there a rule you can bend? I wanna go again. I wanna go again. In a hurry to grow up and old, I miss the mystery unfold. We learn the secrets of life far too late to ever get it right. So let me just try it once more. I do life better than I did before. I swear I won't waste a single minute. No, I'll savor every second in it. Couple of times around the sun, I just got going and now it's done. Does this ride have to end? Is there a rule you can bend? Just this once, if you could punch my ticket then I wanna go again. I